All right, we are back and we are live. Welcome back, you guys, to our daily live feed. We've been off for a little bit because of the Thanksgiving holiday, but we are back and ready to go. Welcome. As you are getting logged on, as always, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. We are going to be on both Instagram and on YouTube tonight. So if you'd like to jump over, lips are popping. Yes, I got the red lip going on. going into the holiday spirit, right? So we will be screen sharing over on YouTube. If you'd like to join us on YouTube, if you're jumping on Instagram. If you are on YouTube, please say hello and comment in. Help us out with our algorithms. Give us some likes. All of that. Thank you. Good evening. Yes. So we finished out last week with Thanksgiving and our final Olympia qualified athletes. We talked about that a little bit last week. So this week, we're going to start talking about what to expect going into the Olympia. So we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. What's up? Welcome, guys. If you haven't noticed, I've gotten my Bikini Girl in the Bodybuilding World Series back up and running. I'm going to try and keep up with that as best I can. I'm keeping it very simple so that I can continue to upload, basically. So they're going to be short little vlogs each week, kind of talking about where we're going, what we're doing, all of those kinds of things. Not a whole lot of editing involved, because if I do a whole lot of editing, it takes too much time and I don't have time. So they're going to be simple, but they're going to be things that you can watch during your cardio theater, all of that. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up in the next few weeks, including nationals and all of that too, Olympia stuff. And then what I want from you guys, I'm going to start pulling up the list of Olympia qualified athletes, right? And I want to hear from you as we pull up those lists, the women that you are most interested in seeing at the Olympia. And the reason why I say that is because next week I am going to do my top 10 predictions for at least bikini, maybe wellness as well. But we have a huge list of girls in each of these categories, and I've got to do some research and things like that and kind of break it down. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but that's what we're going to talk about when we go over to the lists. And I want to get your people that you want me to be paying attention to and looking up and all those kinds of things too. Okay. So this is your opportunity tonight to get your fan favorite votes in, right? So before we get into all of that, though, I did want to mention that we do have ladies competing at nationals this coming weekend, which there is a free live stream for nationals this weekend. So that's awesome. So if you want to tune in, I will be tuning in as much as I can. I do have clients, things like that as well, but I will be tuning in as much as I can to see how that's going. I typically do go to nationals each year. I'm not this year because of the Olympia coming up and because we've got Cuties Conquer the Stage coming up as well. And I just don't have enough hours in the day. Plus there's Christmas and New Year's and all of those kinds of things. So have to figure out, draw those lines and priorities and all of that. I can't be flying all over the place when we're getting into this busy season for me. I know for a lot of people, this is the downtime. For me, it's not. For this time frame, it is very, very busy because of the final preparations for Cuties Conquer the Stage. So we're down to the wire. We're down to the wire. So with that, we do have some ladies competing in nationals. So I'm looking forward to seeing them do their thing, and hopefully we'll get some pro cards coming home. And with that, I wanted to give a quick shout out, because one of the things that we do, if you're new here, one of the things that we do is called the Pro Performer Promise. So if you work with me, you have your suit with me, and you win your pro card in your Sean Couture Cutie suit, you do win a sponsorship for the remainder of your career. Also, the year that you win your pro card, you also win a trip to the Olympia. So that includes your hotel stay, and it includes expo tickets to the Olympia this year. So we have 3 ladies that are taking advantage of that from this past year. That's Jennifer Lynch, who we talked about her just a week ago, placing top 4 in her second pro show ever. So congratulations to her on that. But Jennifer Lynch, also Corrine Richards, and also Shantae Miller. So we will have a decent crew at the Olympia this year. Plus, we've got the girls on stage too. We've got Andrea Glass in fitness, and we've also got Devin Cambry in wellness. So we're gonna have a pretty good crew there. We're gonna have a lot of ladies there, just there as well that are cuties too. But I wanted to give these ladies a shout out. Oh, awesome! So Aurelia will be there as well. So there'll be quite a few women that that are a part of our cutie community that will all be there. So, and Jared's here on YouTube. He will also be there. We've given him a shout out a few times because he qualified for a trip through being an awesome coach that works with us as well. So we always love having our coaches qualify for Olympia trips as well. So congratulations to all of you for qualifying for all of that. And we will see you all there in just a couple weeks. I can't believe it's a couple weeks. The Olympia is typically in September or October, that kind of thing. And so it feels like this has been the longest year ever, basically. And now it's like, boom, it's here, So it's just a weird year for all of this stuff, right? But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. I have been to Vegas several times in the winter. I used to live in Vegas. For those of you who don't know, I used to live in Vegas. It gets cold in Vegas. So for those of you that are going out there for the Olympia, just so you know, bring jackets. There's no pool parties. I know it's the desert, but it snows. It snows in Vegas. For those of you that don't know this, it snows. So get ready because it will be fun, but it will be cold too. So actually, one of the years that I lived there, when I was putting my Christmas tree up, it was snowing when I was putting my Christmas tree up. So be ready. Just be ready. It does get cold in the desert. So what else? Let's see. I wanted to talk about Spain really quickly because this past weekend, yeah, New York girl knows better, right? Yep. Because we did have a show out in Spain. Now, I'm just going to bring up our winner, which was Ivana, and I want to mention a couple things about her with this particular package that she brought to the stage. So Ivana Escandar did win Spain. So let me get rid of the chat overlay so you guys can see this a little bigger. There we go. So Ivana did win. And I have to say that this was probably the most polished look I have seen on Ivana yet. So I wanted to mention that specifically because I felt like her makeup look, let me get a good shot from her from up at the front of the stage. I felt like her makeup look was really, really pretty. This is probably the prettiest makeup look I've seen on her. It might be the lighting partially too, but I just felt like it was a really polished makeup look. So let me pull this up. Here we go. Very, very pretty look here. If I was her, I'd probably do the same thing for Olympia. And that also qualifies her for next year too. So she is now Olympia qualified for next Olympia because this was the first weekend of qualifications for next year. So she is now Olympia qualified again for next year. Not a bad way to start out the year, right? But I wanted to mention a couple things real quickly about this particular package as well. Let me get to a back shot. I thought I had one pulled up already, but I guess I don't. Let me get it. There's 1,000 pictures for this show. There was also a show in Taiwan too. So there's a girl that qualified there as well, and she's also been Olympia qualified in the past too. So, what am I doing? Hang on, I'm on the right. I'm on the wrong show. Let me pull up the right show. That would be helpful. I had this all set up and ready to go. I thought I did. That's not the right show, though. Let me pull up the right show. Where are we at? Man, oh man. What's up, Raven? Here we go. Okay. So this was the look that I was looking for. So yes, that last look was very pretty, but this one is also very pretty. So I want you to see this. So that was her at the Europa. I mean, she's just a pretty girl in general, but okay. So this was her at Spain and Big Man. And then, so that's a really pretty makeup look, really, really pretty hair look as well. Pretty similar to what she had from the Europa as well. But there's one thing I want you guys to see. There's one thing I want you guys to see that I was very happy to see about her particular look here, and that is this. What have I been critiquing her on forever? Somebody tell me what I've been critiquing her on forever that she fixed here at this show. She's short. She's probably 5 foot. I think she's probably 5 foot even, maybe. She's short. But what have I been critiquing her on constantly? And if you don't see it here, let me show you the difference. Here it is. What am I doing? I'm all over the place. This was at the Europa. Yep, we got it. Hair length. So this, her hair is too long here. See that? That was her last show, right? Hair's too long. Here we go. Ta-da! See the difference, you guys? Do you see that? Do you see the difference here? Now we can see her full glutes. I was so happy to see this. And I don't think she even cut her hair. I think she just put curl into it. So it made it just a little bit shorter. And it got up and over her glutes. So now we see the bit of her suit right here. I probably would still like to see it go up just a little bit so we could see her lower back as well. But man, now we can see her whole glute package in the back. I was so happy to see that. I was like, oh, she got her hair short enough, right? So that's been something I've been critiquing her on all year. And this finally came in right here. So I'm really happy to see that. I think I would still like to see a little bit more trimmed off here on the outer part of her hair, just so we can see her lower back. I don't think she cut it. I think she just curled it. So if you look at this one, she's got some curl here in the bottom. And then if you look at her Europa show or the last show that she was in, whatever this one was, she's straight. See? So she's straight across here. The difference is the curl. I don't think she cut it. So I think she just curled it versus straightened it. So if she were to cut it a little bit, again, we would be able to see her lower back, which I think would be even better. And actually her pose is better too. Like if you look at her pose here, her legs are out a little bit, toes are out a little bit. So we see a lot of leg here versus when we pull up that most recent show, we see a lot of glute. She fixed a lot with her back pose here, brought her toes in a little bit. So now we see more fullness in the glute versus all that leg. This is a much better back pose right here than that last show. So she definitely did her homework here. Maybe she listened to me. But this was a much better look. Her glutes look a lot fuller, a lot rounder. My eyes go to her glutes versus her legs. So she did a really good job of fixing this. So this is why pros do several shows before they actually go into the Olympia. You know, not only did she qualify for next year's Olympia, but she made some good tweaks. So, well, like I said, I would still like to see her trim the hair a little bit, like I said. So she's going in the right direction. And I did mention that I'd like to see her trim up her hair just a little bit more so we could see her lower back. But it's 1,000 times better than what she had. So she's got to keep going. She's got to keep going. So she's making tweaks. She's making those improvements. So I think she did a really, really good job here. So I just wanted to mention that this particular show. That's about it. The rest of the girls are all European competitors. Not a whole lot of names or anything like that. We'll see some more real top competitions start coming out once we get into really next year. We're going to see some girls doing the next show, which is the Texas State show, which will be a really good warm-up for people. that's next. You know, you're going to start seeing all these top Olympia girls coming out for warm-ups over the next week. That's really all they got left, right? And then there'll be nothing really until February. So the pro list did come out as far as shows coming out for next year, but it's nowhere near complete. There's just a handful of shows on it. So we'll see a lot of shows start popping up on that list probably over the next couple of months while we have this downtime, right? So with that, what I want to do next is I want to pull up these Olympia qualified athletes, pull up the actual lists for each division. And I want you guys to tell me who you want me to look up, who you want me to start paying attention to, right? So I'm going to pull up the fitness list first. Okay, so we have our fitness ladies right here. Okay, so these are our fitness ladies that are qualified. So go ahead and type into the comment box. Tell me who you want me to look up and who you want me to kind of highlight. Because what I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks is I'm going to highlight the ladies that you want to see highlighted. Okay, and then I'm also going to talk about who I think is going to be, you know, top 10, top 5 in some of these divisions. So take a look at this particular list first. And then we'll go to each female division. We'll go from fitness. We'll go fitness, figure, bikini, and wellness for who you want me to be looking up and kind of highlighting and talking about a little bit going into the Olympia. So Missy. For those of you that don't know, Missy is probably the one between Missy and Ariel. Those are the two that people are really paying attention to. So yes, Missy will definitely be talked about. Who else? Anybody else on this list that you guys want me to pay attention to for fitness? Yeah, and Whitney's out. Whitney Jones is out this year. From what I understand, I think she had some health things she needed to fix, so she's not competing this year. So I'll go through predictions and things like that, going into it a little bit more later on next week. But I think it's probably going to come down to Missy and Ariel and maybe Oksana. I like Oksana a lot, but she tends to have a pretty blocky physique. So there's another name on this list that I believe is going to be competing this year that was supposed to compete last year that didn't. Anybody know who that is? What I'm talking about before I give the spoiler. Okay, spoiler alert is Adela Garcia. She was supposed to come back last year, but she had an injury and didn't compete. But Adela has competed. Yeah, there you go, Adela. Yep. Adela, I think, has 8 titles, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it would have been really cool if Whitney was in this, because then you would have had Whitney, Oksana, Adela, and then, you know, your newbie Ariel coming in, all competing against each other that have titles. That would have been really cool if Whitney was in this, but unfortunately, you know, you got to take care of your health first. I do understand that. So, but yeah, it sounds like we're all looking at the same people. So that's our fitness list. Let's go to, I think figures next. Let's go to figure next. Who here on this list do you want me to pay attention to, right? I mean, obviously, we've got Sid Gillen, who's going to be your defending champion. Who else on this list do you want me to pay attention to that's qualified? Julia. Yep, definitely Julia. Julia just came in and won her first and only show this year, so Julia for sure. Who else? Who else do you want me to pay attention to? Wendy Fortino. We haven't seen Wendy on stage in a little bit. She won a show this year. Yeah, Sydney is definitely a dominant competitor. I miss the days where it was like her and Latoria and Candace going back and forth. Yep, Jessica Padilla. Jessica Reyes Padilla is definitely one to be paying attention to. Shanice. Let's see. Where is she at? Shanice Abrams. Who else? Who else? Who else we got? Who else you guys want to talk about? Anybody else on here? Oops. Anybody we're missing? I got a few of my own, but I want to give you guys the opportunity to put in your 2 cents as far as who you want me to look up. Because I'll go through, like I said, next week, I will go through and actually give you my predictions and why. But I want to make sure that I get people that you want to hear about as well. Anybody else? All right. Well, if you think of anybody else you want me to look up for figure, let me know, and I will. Oops. For those of you that are watching this after it's live, go ahead and put it into the comments on YouTube. Getting all of your people that you would like me to talk about going into the Olympia for each female division. We just did fitness. This is figure. So I'm going to do my top 10 predictions and things like that next week. But I want to get people that you want me to talk about as well, so I can pull them up and showcase them too. Okay. So if you're not on live with us and you're watching this later, go ahead and put it into the comments section. Okay. So now we're on bikini. So who do we want to look at for bikini? Give me some names. Give me some names. There's a lot of names on this list for bikini, obviously. We talk about bikini a lot. So who do you want me to look at for bikini? I'm making notes. Don't everybody shout out at once. Maybe we got a delay on the chat. We got a long list for bikini people. Oh, here's a list right here for some. That's quite okay. Here we go. Now they're coming in. Okay. So we got Jennifer Dory, of course. Yep. Lisa, yes, of course. Ashley, Phoebe. Oh my goodness. Okay. I can't keep up. I asked for you guys to give me your input. Now I can't keep up. Okay. It's Phoebe, Laura Lee, Jordan, Maureen, all of our favorites here, right? Ashlyn, Janet, Lucia, Aaron, who are we missing? Amy. All good names here to be looking up. Daraja, Vanya. Yeah, Valeria Cord is on the list. Yes, her name is just different. What is it? Right here. This is Valeria Cord right here. It's just different on the actual. Her name on Instagram is different than what they've got listed on the actual list for competitors. So we got Valeria. So like everybody right now, actually, this is not everybody. There's 58 competitors, I think, in the Bikini Olympia. So not everybody. No, not the whole list. So I don't know about Valeria this year. Well, I'll talk about that later. I won't go into details tonight. I'll tell you my 2 cents going into my predictions. India, that's one we haven't gotten on here yet. India, Jessica. There's a lot of girls that got qualified at the beginning of the season and haven't been on stage in a while, so some people are forgetting about them. Christina. Who else? That's a big list for for bikini. But with that said, those are a lot of the ones I would pick too. So I'm going back up. Bikini is going to be fun this year because we've got Jennifer, we've got Issa, we've got Ashley, we've got Janet, that are all winners of the Olympia. So 4th is Maureen. I have her on here. We do have Maureen on here. Yep. So we do have Maureen on here as well. Yep, that's Maureen. Yeah, Maureen hasn't been on stage since spring, so we haven't seen her in a while. She won Boston. So was she 3rd at the Arnold, I think? I think she was 3rd at the Arnold. Danny. Yep, Danny's one that hasn't been on stage since she won back in Toronto. That was over a year ago at this point. They are limiting time for routines. They are. It's not a maybe, they are. 45 seconds. Yep, routines are 45 seconds. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot. She was 2nd and Ashley was 3rd. Yep. Laura Lee won that. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I have some thoughts. I will let y'all know my thoughts as we go into the next week. Anybody else that we missed? That's a good list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 people. 19 people for bikini written down. We're already out of the placings. They only place up to 15. So we're already outside of all the placings that are available. And I've got a full list here. So yeah, I think there's 58 total competitors for bikini, which will be by far the biggest bikini Olympia. And I don't think we'll ever see those numbers ever again either, because this is such a long qualification year, right? So, I mean, I'm going to put Eureka down. I mean, I think she's one to watch. I do. She's just getting better. So she's just getting better. But yeah, I think, so next year, I think it's going to be one of the smaller lists because it's going to be a shorter qualification year, right? Typically, we have a full year. This year, we had extra months. So next year, we're going to have less months. So, yep, next year is going to be harder. Next year will probably be the hardest year to qualify. This year was the easiest. Next year will be the hardest. So, anybody else for bikini before we move on to wellness? It's not October next year. It's November. So. Anybody else for bikini? Shelby. All right, that's a good list for bikini right there. That's a good list. All right, let's go down to wellness. I think that's what we got last, right? So we haven't done yet. Yep. Women's physique. We don't really do women's physique much. So let's go to wellness. Okay. So here's our wellness people. So give us a list for wellness here. And again, I have my thoughts, but this is your opportunity to talk about who you'd like to see. So we've got Sunny and Devin. Who else? Andre. I don't know how to pronounce that, Devin. Andrea, is it A? I don't know. A lot of these wellness names are hard to pronounce because they are not from the United States. But I will look her up. Yep, I will look her up. Francielli, of course. Isa, of course. Giselle. Yarishna. Oh, she's the one that looks okay. Gotcha, Devin. All right, got it. Who did I miss? Marissa. Who else? It's a good list for wellness this year. Good list. Good size list. Angela, yep. Yep, of course. We gotta think about her. Who else we got? There's a few names on here that nobody's said yet that I'm looking at personally. Brianne. Wellness is going to be a difficult one because, again, some of these shows that these girls won had like 5 competitors in them. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see how they stack up once they get into this big of a lineup. Isa Maria. Amanda. Man, there's a couple, like I said, there's a couple on this list that I'm surprised nobody has said yet. People that placed last year. Renee. And again, I'm not giving you my 2 cents yet. I'll give you my 2 cents next week. So, Julia. That was one that I was surprised nobody had said yet. That was one. Who else? And again, if you're watching this after we've done it live, once it's already put on replay, go ahead and comment in the comment section who you would like me to pay attention to and to actually talk about when we go through a review for our top 10 potential people in each division. This is your opportunity. Who else? Anybody else we got for this one? This is a good list. This is a good list for wellness. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 girls so far. Again, we're at the placings limit, right? Scroll down a little bit. Anybody down here you see that you'd like to see more about? Daisha. Anybody else? Most of these names haven't competed together in a long time or ever. Yep. Agree. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I was saying about this with wellness. Wellness is going to be a difficult one because there were so many shows this year that had under 10 competitors in it. Right. So some of these lineups were not very strong, and girls just, honestly, some girls just got lucky, so it's going to be interesting to see. Like, we didn't really have a really competitive show this year where everybody showed up. Like last year we had the Pittsburgh Pro where everybody showed up. You know what I mean? New York, a lot of people showed up for that one. It's just going to be interesting to see what we got this year, because even the big time shows didn't have a ton of girls in them. Not a ton of the top names, and we had the Arnold. That was freaking forever ago. So it's gonna be interesting. We might see some names pop out of this list that had no idea how they're gonna stack up till they got onto the Olympia stage. You know what I mean? So, dude, every show last year, right? Yeah. Yep. Every show last year was tough. This year was not. It just is what it is. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, right? So yeah, so what I'm gonna do, just so you guys know, is next week we will go through my top 10 predictions, and I'll also add in some of these people that you guys have mentioned here. Well, I'll look up all these people and kind of give you my 2 cents as far as how I think they're going to do, or what they're going to need to do to come in and actually do something at the Olympia. Because again, some of these girls we have not seen on stage since the beginning of the year, so it's been many months that they've had off and had time to make improvements. So it's going to be a very interesting Olympia, because again, this has been the longest qualification period that we've ever had for Olympia, right? So we've got a lot of girls in this lineup for each division. And again, because some of them qualified at the beginning of the year, or even last fall, last winter, we have people that qualified last year, that qualified in like November, that have not been on stage, right? That have not been on stage. So they've had a full year to make improvements. We could see some people come back and really make a huge, huge impact on the Olympia stage this year because of how much time they have had to actually make some changes, right? So it's gonna be interesting. I think a lot of people are gonna get their feelings hurt this year. I think we're gonna have some new people come out and really shock some people. One of the people that we didn't even mention for bikini that I just talked about is Ivana. Nobody brought up Ivana, and she's won 6 shows this year, right? So there's gonna be some hurt feelings this year. There's gonna be some hurt feelings this year. It's going to be a very interesting Olympia. And yes, routines have to be 45 seconds or less. Babby, that was the one I was surprised. Didn't say anything because Babby's the one that I was surprised nobody brought up. Yep. So Babby is one that I am surprised nobody said yet. So I'll put her down because you mentioned her. There's a few people that are like that you just mentioned here that her latest IG posts make her look quite soft. There's a few people that are like that. I think, like I said, there's going to be some people that get their feelings hurt this year. There's some people that are really manipulating their photos and videos on Instagram hard right now. I'm like, you do not look like that in real life, and I know it. So I really think that there are going to be some people that get bumped way, way down in the Olympia this year, and some other people that are going to jump way, way up. I really do. I think it's going to be a big shakeup this year in each division. We were just talking about wellness, but I think this is going to be the case across the board. I think there is going to be a big tide shift this year. Right? I'm here for the shockers too, right? I'm here for the shockers. Absolutely. 100%. Like Devin's laughing over here because we've talked about this. There's some people that are definitely photoshopping, but y'all know that on stage you can't do that. So yeah, I have this thing with Photoshop. I have no problem with Photoshop. I'm be honest. I have no problem with Photoshop. I have no problem with any of that. The only people that you're fooling are yourself. You can't do that on stage. So, but people have appearances that they have to keep up while they're on Instagram, while they're in the social media accounts, and they have to do these things for sponsorships and all this kind of stuff. So, more power to you if you need to do that for whatever reason you need to do that for. But that doesn't matter when you get on stage. Doesn't make a difference when you get on stage. So you can Photoshop all you want when you're on Instagram. That's fine. And again, I don't have a problem with it. You know, you do what you got to do. That's been around. We've talked about this before. We had several live feeds discussing this. You do what you got to do in order to keep your sponsors happy, keep your followers happy. That's totally different than what shows up on stage. So, yep, the etched in abs. Yep. All sorts of things that we see on social media that does not happen when you're on stage, right? You can't say you were holding water on stage. Like it just, you can't do that. So, you know, it's what shows up on stage that day, you know, but like I said, do what you got to do for the gram, you know, do what you got to do for the gram. I have no problem with that. No problem with that. But it's going to show up for real when you get on stage. So that's why I said, I think there's going to be some feelings that get really hurt this year. Yeah. Man, you know, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. That's a good question. Devin, because I've seen it posted a couple different times and I forget. When are our wellness finals? Are they Friday or Saturday? I feel like they're Friday because you guys aren't you guys on stage for prejudging on Friday? But I could be wrong on that. I know Devin's on Instagram and she'll know, so she can tell me. Oh, I know who's photoshopping. I know who's using apps for all their videos. Friday, yeah. Wellness is Friday. I thought so. Wellness is on Friday night. Yeah. So got the tea. Oh, I know everybody that's the shop and everything. Can't fool me. But yeah, guys, it happens nonstop. So that's why I said, I'm like, the truth will show up when they get on stage. You'll see it. You'll see it when they get on stage. Something else that I wanted to mention too, because I saw this come up a few times when it comes to like actually the men's bodybuilders. So a lot of the competitors right now are going up to Pittsburgh and doing their shoots for the road to the Olympia and all that kind of stuff. Just so you guys know, the lighting up there for those videos and things like that are not even close to what you would see in real life, right? The lighting up there blurs these lines like crazy on people. I've been up there a few times. It was this, I think they have a new location now for the NPC photo gym, but the lighting is very like, it blows everybody out. So everybody like looks super soft. Everybody looks like they have no separation at all. They have no vasculator, no nothing. So I promise you, they look better in real life than they do in those videos and those pictures. They absolutely do, because I've been in those lights. And I mean, it's just everybody across the board. Everybody across the board looks softer than they actually are in real life. So if you're trying to look at the videos and things like that on NBC News Online to get an idea of what people look like, doesn't do them justice. Doesn't do them justice at all. You know, and here's the other thing too, you guys. I don't do this anymore, but I used to put filters and things like that onto my photos and stuff that I would post online because I didn't want people knowing what I actually looked like. I used to do that. I used to like blur stuff out. I used to do black and white. I used to do, you know, all these high contrast, things like that, because I didn't want people to know what I actually looked like. Now I don't care. I'm like, when I put my progress photos up, those are my progress photos. You know, when I put my videos up, those are my videos, you know, but I absolutely used to do that to fuck with people's heads, 100%. So don't believe everything that you see online. Don't believe everything that you see online, because I used to do it on purpose. And I know some people do it on purpose for that reason, to make their competition guess. So, you know, whether it's on purpose or it's not, there's a lot of people out there that are shopping shit. And there's just so many apps out there nowadays that you can even do videos, and the videos will snatch your waist in and pop your glutes out and things like that. It's so funny. Sometimes when you're watching like reels, pay attention to some of these reels, these videos, because you'll see like the stuff in the background move. You'll see it. So like I said, all that stuff, you do what you got to do on Instagram and social media. I have no problem with it. Do you, boo? That's totally fine. But all of that shit comes to roost when you actually get on stage, right? We will see the truth when you get on stage. And that's why I said when I do my previews next week, probably have some people that their feelings get hurt. It just is what it is, So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun couple of weeks leading in. So, but yeah, I'm excited for the last couple of weeks here. I've got a lot of freaking work to do between Cuties Conquer the Stage and Olympia stuff and everything too. Just actually finished Andrea's suit for fitness. So we have Devin competing in wellness, but then we have Andrea in fitness as well. So I just finished her suit today. That was oh my goodness. Figure suits, y'all. I love them because they're fun and they stretch my imagination. And I love to design them and things like that. But man, they take a long time. But with that said, so that's done. And like I said, we have several girls that are competing in nationals this weekend. Brandy, right here, one of them. She's on our live right now. And Simi is doing it as well. And then we have the Texas Pro next week, which will have a few girls in that one in the NPC portion. And obviously we'll see a bunch of preview of these Olympians getting on stage and things too. So that's going to be awesome. And then we're off to the races for the Olympia. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. And then there's Christmas, which is always fun too. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. We did. If you followed any of my personal stuff, you saw all the fun stuff that we did. My family was in town and all of that. So we will be back again tomorrow night. I can't believe tomorrow's Thursday already. We'll be back again tomorrow night. And I'll have another preview for you tomorrow night, another video for you tomorrow night live. And that's it. That's it, guys. Black Friday sale went great. Thank you guys for everyone that supported that. Can't wait for Texas and yes. Thank you for keeping my posing in line. Absolutely. Yep. I told you, we just fixed that front post for you today. That's all I got. That's all I got. Be paying attention. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the next month. It's going to go really, really quick before we get into 2023. And we're almost to the end of the year already. So hope you guys had a great week so far. I'll see you back here again tomorrow night live. And then we will go from here. And I'll make sure that I take all of your suggestions for our list when I get together our Olympia preview for next week. That's it. We got this. We got this. All right. As always, if you want to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing. All the fun stuff when it comes to competing. And I'll see you back here again tomorrow night, 8:15. All right? I'm going to log off of Instagram first. And then YouTube. All right. Good night.